I say this. When anybody enters into your life, they are a stranger. A stranger you decided to trust and get to know. Even your parents were strangers until you got to know them. And even if they exit your life, let me hold your hand a little bit tighter. They are going to leave out your life as a stranger. And you will realize you never knew them. And that is 100% okay. Why? Because we are even learning ourselves. Some people are strangers to themselves. Let me hold your hand a little bit tighter when I say this. A stranger is somebody we decided to trust and give a title to. And that's all it is. And that's what it is. And it's something to be thought about. And it's 100% okay. I'm about to say something so wild, but stay with me. Time doesn't mean nothing without people, and people don't mean anything without time. Time moves with us, not behind us, and not before us. And without time, without people, time is just space. Something to think about. I'm not going to hold your hand when I say this because it need to sting a little bit, okay? People will bet on other people's skill set, but won't even bet on themselves. Won't even invest a nickel, dime, quarter, penny on themselves. Prime example. People will bet on a basketball player, football player, whatever game, and they will bet on a player's skill set based upon how they watch that person play the game. And then will get mad if that person didn't meet their expectations for them to win. But all they did was disappoint you how you disappoint yourself every day. Because you refuse to bet on yourself. And I'm not saying they lost because you won't bet on yourself. But it's a prime example that a mirror is being mirrored to you, that you need to bet on yourself and you have the ability to do so, but you won't. Something that I heard that really changed my life is your flesh expires, but your soul lives on and on and on and on and on. So anytime that you are feeling fear, and it made me realize that fear is something that the flesh does to stop the spirit from fulfilling its goals, its dreams, your goals, your dreams, and things like that. And your flesh is basically allowing you to believe the illusion that you have all the time in the world. But in this vessel, why not experience life in its fullness, in its totality, and everything that it has to offer, just because you may be reincarnated again and again and again and again? Why would you allow the person that you are now to not feel God promises? Think about it. In this life, we're one moment away, one decision away, one thought away from everything that our heart desires. So with that being said, what is something that your heart is yearning for? Think about it. And think about one thing that you can do, or one thing that you can change to do it or get it. What would it be? Now you just need to do it. One thing I learned in this life and in my healing journey is the whole goal is to surrender your flesh to your spirit. And the reason I realized that is we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And in order for God to take control and to lead and guide us, we have to surrender our flesh to our spirit in order to fulfill our goals and to get everything that was promised to us. And think about it, when you are going through a problem and you are at your most vulnerable and you actually submit to God, you get what you're looking for. So imagine if you submit to God 100% throughout your life. Imagine everything that God promised you that you will get. So that's why I say surrender your flesh to your spirit. So yeah. You know, one thing I realized was when I felt like I lost my spark is when I put my dreams on halt because life wasn't going the way that I wanted to go. And that's when I realized I was operating out of my flesh instead of my spirit. Just because life has detours, lessons that we need to learn maybe those was preparations for our dreams and our goals, and we just had to keep going forward and maneuver and pivot our dream, but keep that dream alive and allow it to come into fruition in due time by learning different things. So I thought that was a really interesting concept that I came up with, just thinking and meditating. And I just want to tell everybody that don't lose your spark. Just pivot your dream, or realize your dream may be something else. Whatever your heart yearns for, that's what you need to incorporate into your life until you get it. You know what's crazy is I used to always say, if I can go back in time, I'll fix this and this and this. And now I'm at a point in life to where I don't want to fix nothing. I'm glad I went through what I went through. I'm glad I experienced it, because it now allows me to give my kids and their kids the blueprints of how I got through what I was going through, so I can be able to instill that into them. Not the hard times, but what I learned out of it. How was the experience? How did I maneuver out of it? What did I gain from the experience? What did I learn? How did I connect with God? So not only can I give them material wealth, but spiritual wealth, so they can maintain both at the same time. And also me breaking generational curses. Have you ever noticed where you're like, God called me and I answered the call, and you don't see your situation moving how it's supposed to move, and you're like, dang, I feel like I'm going through the test. You just picked up the call. When God call you again, make sure you answer the call. And not only answer the call, listen to the instructions of the call and start working on it. No matter how hard it is, how daunting it feels, and how much you got to mark this off and mark that off, it's time to not only answer the call, but work on the call so you can live in the calling. That's something to be thought about. One affirmation that I believe everyone should start saying in order for them to feel full and to work on their fullness in life is saying that, God, thank you for allowing my soul to experience this life and to experience living, and not just living, but living life to its fullness and to my greatest potential. Try it. Just say it to yourself multiple times a day, or even once a day, and see how life opens up and blossoms for you. And when I say healed, it's coming from a place of, now I recognize the signs. I'm not going to proceed if I see a caution sign, a red flag. Now that I know what I've been through, I know not to go back through it. I know to change up the way that I act, the way that I think, the way that I maneuver in this life. That is healing. Because spirits will come to you in human forms, the same spirit over and over again with a new face. You have to recognize what's behind the face in order to not go towards it. You understand the test, you pass the test. That's kind of like me graduating out of high school, but I want to go back and take the 9th grade exam. I already passed the test. What's the point of going back and try to do something that's already been done? Now it's time to move forward and go on with life. People always told me I have an amazing story to tell when it comes to my life. And if I would have shared that story last week or even a year ago, it would be totally different from how I tell it from the healed version of me. I would have told it in, oh, this person did this and this happened to me and that happened to me. And it would have just been another sad story. Now I can tell my story, the lessons I learned from it, the accountability I took throughout the progress, and how I took so much accountability for the things that happened to me. Not only did I heal, I moved past it, I let it go, and I allowed God to come into the situation. So now it comes off as a testimony instead of a struggle. And I always was like, oh, when will I tell my testimony? And now I can tell my testimony because I went through the test and I passed it. I healed. Learn to celebrate your wins, big or small. You just gained 100 followers, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the case may be. Whatever you feel like celebrating, celebrating. Even if you got to do it all by yourself. Cheers. One reason I decided to heal, because I knew what the struggle felt like. I wanted to know what the healed version looked like. And I cried and I cried. And I was like, I want to be free. I want to be free. And I want to be free. And God showed me why I felt like I wasn't free, because I was holding on to experiences, material things that no longer mattered. Like when I say material things, things that my exes gave me, even trauma, and I wasn't healing from it. I wasn't learning from it. I wasn't letting those things go. And the moment I let those things go, I started feeling the freedom that my soul so desperately wanted and so desperately needing in this life in order for me to operate at a higher vibration and at a vibration that I was so desperately seeking for years. And now I got it. And it feels so amazing. So, you know, people who say that they are influencer, creator, whatever the case may be, and they get upset when people want to mimic them or do what they're doing or copying them, but yet we try to be like Jesus. And we use Jesus as an example, or we use people in the Bible as an example on how we should live, how we should maneuver, and how should we do things. But yet those people don't say anywhere in the Bible that, why are you trying to be like me? Why are you trying to do what I do? And with that being said, life has two teachers. A person that learned by other people's lessons and a person who have to go through it on their own. So with that being said, what make you better than Jesus? But when you're putting yourself in a role to influence others, that's something to be thought about. One thing people always thought was weird that I always say is, I refuse to let a person live twice. And I refuse to let a person live two different narratives in two different vessels and think it's okay. So other people's opinions does not matter for me. Because if you ever ask somebody for advice, they give you their advice and everything goes sour. And they were like, well, you should have did what was best for you. Or they try to navigate your life or control your life. At the end of the day, if there's something they want to do and they're scared to do it, they need to do it for themselves. Because you doing it for them doesn't count for them. Nobody's opinion matters. Nobody's opinion matters but yours. Living your truth, take your own opinion. The first thought that comes to your head and it feels right, that's what's right for you, not what they say for you. I want y'all to think about this one. I feel like it's really interesting. For people who always say, God, I don't want to be your strongest soldier and this and that, I realize those people haven't learned their lesson. And the reason they feel like they have to be a strong soldier is because they're going through the same lesson over and over and over again in different phases of their life because they're not learning it. So when you're not learning it, you have to get stronger and stronger within it in order to try to pass it, maneuver it, and deal with it. But they're not dealing with it. They're just going through the motions. So they feel like they have to be a strong soldier when really God is making that test harder and harder because they're not learning the lesson. So if you're learning your lesson, you won't have to be strong in that certain aspect of your life, and you can just move forward with ease. Everything deserves celebration. So you know how when people be on their deathbed, that's when they want to tell all their secrets, other people's secrets, and also they want to talk about the life that they wish they would have had or wish they would have did. What if at that moment God allowed them to see his promises that he had for their life if they was just more present in the moment, if they would have did this, if they would have lived life to the fullest. And once they're at the end, it's like it's nothing they can do. So why wouldn't God reveal it to them right then and there to be like, this is what you could have had in your life, or this is what you could have done, or this is what you should have done in your life, but you decided not to, and now it's the end and you can't do it. This was my promise for you. And the secrets that they was holding was nothing but chains weighing them down. That's why they had to let it go and release it, because remember that spirit is free and light. I think this is really interesting. Why do you chase things? God don't even chase us, and he created us. He do things to attract us to his word or to him, and it's only if you want it. Only if you're willing to submit. Only if you're willing to believe. It's like he manifests us to him. So why do you feel like you need to chase things? Because the person who created you don't even chase you. He stands there and he waits until you're ready. You know what's crazy? The years that we lived are the years that was promised to us. And the years to come, we pray those are promised to us as well. But there is no certainty or no guarantee that tomorrow is promised. But we pray, we wish, we hope that we can see another couple of decades or even 60, 70, 80 years, whatever the case may be. But just remember that live today, because you don't know if you'll have tomorrow. So, what I want to say is, don't allow regret to steal the time that you have left. Even though you may spend minutes, hours, days thinking like, oh, I should have done this differently, I should have done that differently, I should have, and you're wasting time trying to fix something that is already done. It's best to let it go and move forward and not allow it to steal the time that you have left and operate in that one mistake you feel like you made, or that one moment you made a decision and you feel like the decision wasn't right afterwards. It is 100% okay. Just make sure you're not making that same mistake, or you're not doing things like that again to where you feel like you have to regret it. So live a life regret-free. And remember, don't waste the time that you have left in this life. One affirmation that I think you should say in the morning time, I have done it for the last week and oh, it's amazing, is tell yourself good morning. Good morning. Say your name and then say, how is life going to open up for me for my benefit? How is life going to praise me and honor my spirit and keep me in alignment today? Show me how good life can get today. Allow me to be present in my life today. Try it. Just try it. Just try it. Just try it. Every day, tell yourself good morning. Because we look forward for other people to tell us good morning. Why don't we tell ourselves good morning and how amazing our day is going to be? So, yeah. Always remember, when life throw you lemons, don't just make a temporary thing out of it and make a lemonade. Plant a tree there so that the people that's coming that same path doing that same thing can also see the fruits of it all, can see the lights at the end of the tunnel, or even pick the fruit and learn the knowledge from it. With that being said, you can write a book, tell your story about that lesson, or take that lesson and make it beneficial for you. Don't just make lemonade, which is temporary. Use every part of what you learn in order to allow the next person to know what it is and what not to do or what to do out of the lesson that you learned when life threw you lemons. So, yeah. An interesting perspective that I came up with: when a certain chapter is coming to a close in your life, after you finish that test, and you have two options on the table. You can either choose to be the same person you was when you went through the test, or you can choose the new version of you. But whichever version of you, remember, the other version has to die in order for that version to come into fruition. So whatever you choose is going to be your next lesson or your blessing or another test. But remember that if you choose the old you, you will continuously going through the same tests, trials, and tribulations over and over again to build up that other person that's going to be sitting at that table when you come to the end, which is your future self. So be mindful what you choose, who you choose, and how you choose it, and why you choose it. Remember that. I thought that was interesting and something to really think about. One thing that came to me that I thought was really interesting is, what if, I'm just saying, what if, in order for us to get more life, is to show gratitude for the days that we have and the days that we did have in life, in order for us to get more. Because even when we're ungrateful, when somebody give us something, tell us something, and we don't value it, the first thing they be like, why should I give you more if you're not appreciative of what you have? So what if God works on that same system? If you're showing him not only you're grateful for the time you are living, but the days that have passed and the day that you are present now, why wouldn't he give you more? So I think that's something to think about. I really think that's interesting, an interesting concept I came up with. A lot of people are afraid of the unknown because they don't know how to navigate it without using their physical eyes, but their spiritual eyes. And even when you go to sleep, you never know if you're going to have a dream or not, what the dream is going to be about, what story it's telling you. Your soul is showing you how it maneuvers in the dark. Because your physical body is 100% like wherever you decide to put it before you went to sleep. But at the end of the day, life is about allowing our spiritual eyes to be the light for us and allow our vessel to move how it's supposed to move when it's supposed to move to get us to where we're going. So if you're operating, even when you operate in the dark at nighttime, you're going based off of memory from when you was last in the dark or when you saw the light throughout the situation in order to get to where you're going. So I think you need to really think about it. So yeah. Always remember this. If you're allowing your eyes to make decisions for you, intentions will not be there. But if you allow your heart to guide you, then emotions will be there. And not only emotions, but a fulfillment will be there, rather than allowing your eyes to make the decision for you. Use your heart and not your eyes. Baby, just relax your mind. You got time if I got time. Think about it. Anything worth having, it's going to take time. And it's going to have some type of emotions tied to it, just like trials and tribulations. We know not to do it because we understand how it feels. So imagine if your heart gave you your desires. Imagine if you get your heart desires. How would that feel?